ברשות כל הקדוש, everybody welcome. יהיה רצון שברכה, הצלחה, בריאות, הרבה נחת ליעקב בן אושר, קריאו דניאל בן מיכאל, שחתונה בשנה הזה בעזרת השם. גם תברך את כל עם ישראל, שיגלנו בגאולה שלמה, ברחמים ובחסד. We're going to say, אלף הבדלות לנו נשמת רום הרחמים בן מזל הלוי. רוח השם תנחנו בגן עדן, וגם מורי אבי אהרון בן אסתר. רוח השם תנחנו בגן עדן, הוא וכל השוכבים עמו בכלל רחמים והסליחות וכן רצון ולומר אמן. Please everybody join us. Every day we have a shiur, a Masechet Sotah, 20 minutes after the Shacharit, after the Netz Minyan at the Paras Bet Knesset congregation, 98-39 67 Avenue, Regal Park, New York, 11374. Please spread the word. Be able to learn the Torah of Hashem. Torah of Hashem. So it says over here, we continue with Pirkei Avot in the Mishnah 3, Ot, letter 16. So it says over here, Agabayim Achzirim Tadir B'chol Yom. We continue Gabayim, which just means people will go after the people, whoever borrowed the money or took the product without paying for that product as a loan. So Chazal says, our sages say, Isurim, Eluhin Isurin. Isurim, which just means pain and suffering. So we said, in a previous shiur, we said, how's the pain and suffering is working? Right now we come to the Masechet Baba Metzia in page Pad, 84 Amud Bet. Mar Echaya Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon Mazmin et Isurim. Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon, he used to, at night time, he used to go sleep. He used to, every night to say, Boy Achai Bo Re'i. He says, my dear brothers, come to me. My dear friends, come to me. What is he talking about? Isurim, difficulties and problems. Vayu moshchim mimenu b'chol yom arivot malot dam umegula. The whole night, his wife, it says in the Masechet Baba Metzia, his wife used to pull out around 300 sheets underneath him to exchange them, to change them, because he was full of blood. The angels used to come in and they used to beat him up, Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Shimon. He says, Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Shimon, when he came to the morning, he says, leave me alone, the Isurim, which is pain and suffering, and all the pain that I have, leave me alone. That's what, lechu mimeni, get away from me. In order for him not to be a bitul Torah. Bitul Torah, which just means when a person is in pain and suffering, it's very hard to learn from pain when you're in a person in a pain and suffering. That's what Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Shimon did. Be'elkut Shimoni todiene orachayim. David HaMelech asking following, David HaMelech asking Hashem, show me the path of life, life of path. Amar David HaMelech lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. David HaMelech says, from Hashem, todiene orach chayim. Show me the path of life. Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, chayim ata chafetz. You desire for life? Tzafa le'isurin. He says, if you desire life, you wait for the isurim, for difficulties and a problem, and a pain and suffering. Shenemar, like the verse says, v'derech chayim tochichat musar. Says the right path to go in a life, v'derech chayim, the path, the right path, tochichat musar, rebuke of the musar. But Yerushalmi Ma'asirot, so Perigimel. In Yerushalmi says something. Chamad Adam todecha ba'olam hazeh, ma she'akadosh baruch hu miviyeh chama la'adam al yedei isurin. Whatever the Kadosh Baruch Hu brings to the person, pain and suffering, okay? Ba'olam hazeh, in this world, shirit chamuto tachgor le'olam haba. So be purely clean for the shame in the world to come. Shimonim mimenu ha'onish ba'olam haba, tachgor lashon ikuv. He says when the difficulties come to the person, what happens? It stops his problems and a share in the world to come. Yalkut b'Yalkut Shimoni Teilim Samehei Nired b'Tzedek Ta'anene Elokei Yeshienu. He says, Hashem, answer me with the tzedek, with the righteousness. And you're gonna, the one who's gonna redeem me. נורא שאתה עתיד לעשות עמנו בעולם הבא. You're going to do with me in the future, in the world to come. אבל בשביל ייסורים רבות עליהם בעולם הזה. Says, in order for me to receive עולם הבא, what I need to be going through pain and suffering in this world. וסדר אליהו רבה, says following in אליהו רבה, כל המודה והייסורים ושמח בהם, somebody coming to him difficulty in a problem, and he's happy with it, נוטלים לו חיים שאין להם סוף בעולם הזה, בעולם הבא. They give him the life in this world, and they're going to give him a life in a share in the world to come. It says in Masechet Kiddushin, in page 40, Amud Bet. Amar Rabbi Elazar bar Rabbi Tzadok. Rabbi Elazar, in the name of the Rabbi Tzadok, says, Lomar lama tzadik limshalim lima tzadikim limshalom ba'olam hazeh. What the tzadikim it represents in this world? Leilan shekulo omed b'makom tahor. A tree that stands in a pure place. V'nofo omed lemakom tuma. By the branches, it's extended to the place of the tuma, impurity. Nikotzetz nofo. We're going to cut off the branches. Nimtza kulo omed b'makom tahor. We see from here, the tree stands, everything in a makom tahor, in a place of purity. Kach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, mivi usurim ba'olam hazeh. That's the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings the isurim, problems and difficulties to this world for the person. Kidei she'yishro she'yishoresh ba'olam haba. So he's able to inherit the share in the world to come. Shenemar Iyov says in Echet, Zayin, ve'ereshitecha mitza'ar ve'acharetecha yishge me'od. Yishge or lishge. So it says following, says in the beginning, it's a pain and suffering. But at the end, it's very pleasant. Rav Huna hayolo 400 chaviyot gdolot maleot yain. Rav Huna, he had 400 barrels of wine. Mehem hayita parnasato. And that's how Rav Huna used to do parnasa, wine seller. Okay, Yom Echad, nochacha shekol hayayin shelo echmitz. One day, all his 400 barrels became everything vinegar. Okay? Vaya mitzaer miyod al kach. He was very pain and suffering. Nichnasu etzlo chaverav harabbanim. His friends came in, the Talmidei Chachamim, to Rav Huna. And they're saying the following. Lo ki lo lechinam kara mikre hazeh. They say nothing happened in this world for nothing. Of course, Rav Huna knows this. Rav Huna Gdol Ador himself, Talmid Chacham. And they say to him, nothing happens for vain in this world. Everything happens for the reason. The reason your wine became a vinegar, there's a reason. Amar lahem ki ani chashud beinechem she'asiti eze avon. He says, you look at me as a suspect that I did some type of sin. Ela lemai ki chashud chas v'shalom HaKadosh Baruch Hu she'oseh onesh kazeh bli din bli mishpat. And chas v'shalom, you think in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his suspect also did on you judgment without having judgment on you? Kacha she'olim, that's the way they're asking. Halo el emunah ven avel tzadik v'asharhu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he does not take bribery. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is straight, with all the traits that you could imagine in this world and a share in the world to come. Amar lehem im sha'amatim alay az davar shelo hagon. Ana amar li. Rav Huna says to Chachamim. We're going to say who is the Chachamim that entered Rav Huna and they came to him to talk to him. So he said, Rav Huna to Chachamim, please tell me what I did wrong. Most of the times, we don't admit what we did wrong. We always say how much right we are. We didn't say how much wrong we are. Okay? אמר לו רב חונה, שמענו בחלוקה שאתה חולק עם האריס, מגפנים שבכרם, הענבים שלך, שממנו היה עושה את היין. He says, you have, whoever watching your vineyard, and that vineyard, you are partners with him 33%, you are the vineyard guy who watch after the vineyard, 33%, and you with him partners, 66, which is Rav Huna 66%, the vineyard guy is 33%. Okay? ואתה נותן שני שלישי, והריס שליש, כפי מנהג המדינה. That's the way the country goes. That's the way it needs to be done. Okay? אין אתה חולק עמו בזמורות הגפנים שיבשו. He says, whatever the trees that became dry, whatever the grape became as the raisins, you don't split with him the money. You don't split with him money. ועצם נמכרים להסקה, the trees that you sell to burn him by the people that could buy it and burn him out. ואתה לוקח את הכל. It says, and you take everything, whatever you took, which is not supposed to. לפי הדין הלכה ריבחה בבא מציע, it says in הלכה 103. כשם שחולקים בגפנים, כך חולקים בזמרות ובקנים. It says, Rav Huna, the way you are with your vineyard, your partner's 33%, with the guy that you partners, you're 66%. You're supposed to be split with him, not only the grapes that you make a wine from it, you need to split the trees that became dry and the raisins that came from those dry trees. What do you do with that? What Rav Huna said? He says, my partner, Rav Nisim, he says, my partner steals for me a lot from my vineyard. That's what he says. My partner is a what? Is a thief. He takes full of grapes to his house. Basically, he's stealing. Bli rushuti. He does not ask me as a partner, am I allowed or not allowed? So what do usually people say? The favorite adash people say, Hagonev acher haganav, gam hu tam gniva. A person steals from the thief, he tastes the stealer in his mouth, which means he's also feel that taste. Amar lahem ani mikabel alai shochzir ma magia min azmirot. He says, everything until now, whatever I did not split with him, the dry trees and the raisins, I'm going to split from today's date. And from that moment when he said it, right away, his whatever wine became vinegar. From the vinegar, it became again wine. Some says the vinegar, the reason is the price went up. So from here we learn, when it comes to the monetary law, a person is always right. I haven't seen in people where they said it's wrong, and I'm able to listen to another party. I had 2 cases this week. Actually, 1 case today, this morning, and another case next week. So each one of them, when they open their mouth, you're gonna see how they're right. And all of a sudden, all the cards are open, all the things. It's just all the negative. What's gonna happen? All the negativity they stuck into you, they stuff it to you, and all the positivity out of you, they're taking it. And that's all that happens. Okay? So that's what the Pirkei Avot says. We continue. Mishnah Yud Zayin. In a chapter 3, in a Mishnah 17. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Omer, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, En Torah and Derech Eretz. There is no Torah, there is no Derech Eretz. We're going to say, what does it mean? And Derech Eretz and Torah. If a person does not have a proper way of behaving and acting, there is no Torah. And the opposite. Im en Chochma en Ira. A person does not have a wisdom and knowledge, does not have a fear. Im en ira en chokhmah, a person does not have a fear, he does not have a knowledge. Im en dad en bina, a person does not understand, he does not have to willing to understand. Okay? Im en bina en dad, a person not willing to understand, he would not understand. Im en kemach en Torah, if there's no kemach, if there's no flour in the dough, okay? There's no Torah. Im en Torah en kemach. If there's no Torah, there's no kemach. There's no flour. How somebody is very smart and knowledgeable, then his deeds. Lemahu domeh. What does he look like? What does he sound like? He's like a tree. The branches are a lot, but the roots are little. What does it mean? We're going to we're going to elaborate on this. When the strong winds would come in, winds, and they would take the tree and it will flip the tree, he will uproot it and will flip it in his face. We're going to talk about it. שנאמר, והיה כערער כערבה לא יירא כי יבוא טוב. A person, when he speaks, and he's knowledgeable, and he knows a lot, but his deeds are very little, any little thing will come in, we're going to talk about, it will drop him, he would, everything that he learned, everything he understand, it was what? Everything was in the brain. Okay? So, ושכן חרירים במדבר, ארץ מליחה לא תשב. He's like a person in a desert. Okay? אבל כל המעשיו מרובים מחוכמתו. Somebody is speaking less and does more. That's what the חכמים do. Speak less, do more. Okay? למה הוא דומה? What is he comparable to? לאילן שענפיו מועטים ושורשיו מרובים. His roots are stronger and a lot more roots than his anafim, than his branches. אין מזיזים אותו ממקומו. Nobody able to. So look what it says. אפילו כל הרוחות בעולם בעוד נשבות בו. All the winds will come in to this world would not even move in one bit. שנאמר והיה כעת שתול על המים. He's a tree that was planted in the water. ולא יבוא לשלוח שורשיו. No water and no winds able to uproot the roots of the tree. ולא יירא כי יבוא חום. He does not care if there's going to be hot weather. היה עליו רענן. בשנת בצורת לא ידאג. When there's a hunger, okay, he would not be worried. ולא ימיש מעשות פרי. He would always produce products of the fruits of the tree. What does it mean? כי אין תורה אין דרך ארץ. There's no Torah, there's no דרך ארץ. So we're going to understand this and elaborate. כלומר, שאם אינו לומד תורה, if a person, Rav Nisim, he does not learn Torah, מה שהוא נושא הוא נותן לצורך פרנסתו. Whatever he's going to do the business transaction for his own sustain in his life, for the parnasa, לא יהיה משא מתן יפה עם הבריות. He would not act with people properly. Then you're going to have all of your rebuttals. I seem religious like this. Religious is not mean somebody have a kippah, peyot, and a zakan. Religious goes according to the Shulchan Aruch. That's what it means. I'm subduing what the Maran Shulchan Aruch says. That's what I'm doing. That's what's called religious. Not somebody just have a kippah and a peyot and a zakan. Some of us don't, some of us yes, and that's it. He's religious. You see, he's religious. I was the other day in a Brit, I think yesterday, or day before, no, Sunday. The guy is going to shul already 10, 15 years. He has a sideburns. He takes with the line a sideburns. And I told him you're not allowed to do it. And I showed him the picture. With a razor? Yeah, not allowed. That's the sicknesses. I spoke to the barber, my barber, he says that's the sicknesses of the barbers, he said. To do the liner, to make it better for the look to bed. So the guy, I told the guy, and he says, wow, I did not know. But he says, why is not allowed? Right here, it's allowed. I said, have you ever learned halacha? No. So how you know what's allowed, what's not allowed? So simplest thing, he was not able to subdue. It was very, for one liner that he did, it's very hard for him to subdue. But he goes to Shacharit, Mincha, Aravit, he keeps Shabbat the way he's saying it, he keeps Kashrut, everything, but it's very hard for him to subdue to certain things. It's just used to it, and he cannot change it. So it says following, Al Pi Torah Kamra. So a person, he does not learn Torah. He's not a Yirat Shamayim. It's very hard for him to do business transaction with people properly. Okay? Maseu matanu mata yafei mabriyot. Al pi Torah kamrina babakama. Babakama says in page Lamed, Daf 30. Hay demand de baye lemahe chasida likayem mile de tzadikim eno lomed ech yikayema. Chazal tell us, if a person is a pious chassid, or person is going to charid lidvar Hashem, charidi, which just means the prophet says, he's saying what the Hashem says. So if he does not learn the Nazikin, he never learned about Nazikin damages or monetary laws, how does he know how to act and properly of monetary law? He does not know. Okay? בקשות אדם עם הארץ שאינו משמר תורה מצוות, להצטרף לדון, אף על פי שהאנשים הללו יש לכם נימוס דרך ארץ בפני הבריות, נראה שאין זה מספיק כלל. Some people Rav Ariel Yosef over here brings in Yabiyo Omer Chelek Bet, chapter 2, in a Choshen Mishpat, Siman Aleph, Od Dalet. He says, what if some certain people that are not learners and not Shomer Mitzvot, they do sometimes proper business according to our knowledge? He says it's still not enough. Still not enough. Not enough. Umar Barambam שצריך להחזיק בעוסק מצוות וגמילות נוהגי כדברי ישרים. He says, first of all, a person needs to do mitzvot וגמילות chasadim. Okay? Then, בדרכי ישרים, in a proper way, ויש דרך ארץ. If a person does גמילות chasadim ומצוות, he has a דרך ארץ. If a person does not do mitzvot and gemilut chasadim, it's very hard for him to have a derech eretz. We're going to explain what means derech eretz. Okay? Al pi Torah aya, so it says, Chazal says in Baba Kama, in page 30, how a person able to do mitzvot or monetary laws, and he never learned it. If we think in Shabbat, Borer, it's halacha that is very in detailed. Dinei Mamanot, which is come when it comes to the monetary, it's so detailed, it's beyond our understanding and beyond our comprehension, because once we need to learn Dinei Mamanot, then we have to be residency, which means we need to go in a Beddin, we need to sit for 2-3 years at least, before we're going to make any plaintiffs that have a complaint about one to another. It takes time. It's not what we're thinking, oh, right here I learned the Parasha Mishpatim, I learned the Parasha Shoftim. That's it, I'm a Dayan. I learned 2 Shulchan Aruch, Turvu Shulchan Aruch. I learned 3 Simanim. That's it, I'm a Dayan. I already know the Siman. The Siman says like this. This is more details. Shamoa ben Achichem, you need to hear 2 sides. First of all, you're not a Dayan. Dayan cannot be 1. Dayan has to be at least 3. Maybe you could give advice. But what if you have a conflict of interest? That's what I saw most of the times. So
there are people who are specifically, that's their profession.
Right.
They advise you
right.
how to get away from the Beddin.
Right.
Beddin Mamanot.
Right.
And they charge like $500 an hour.
Okay.
There are people who do this.
So it's okay. What's the $500? Nothing. This guy today, this rabbi told me, he one against to another, and he says, I want $1 million. This guy owes me $1 million. Okay? The guy says, I'm not giving you $1 million, I'm giving you 700,000. The guy did not agree. Okay? Then he says, we're going to go to civil court. Of course, after the Beddin needs to go, the Beddin needs to give okay to go to civil court. Okay? Which is the Goyish court. Not allowed unless the Beddin does. Because if a person first goes to Goyish, he's not believing in Moshe, in the Torah Moshe, it's kofer. It's like a non-believer. Okay? And he modele avodah zarah. He makes the avodah zarah stronger. Okay? So the guy, $1 million, the guy did not settle, it's called settlement, 700. He did not settle. They went both to the lawyers. The lawyer says, I'm going to take $1 million. I'm going to take 15% from the $1 million. Plus, I'm going to take 12% from the, so million minus 15% is 850, if he's going to get it. From 850, he needs to get 12%. So he's end up being, right. Okay, so that's, no, 1 minute. After 3, he went to the lawyer, that's what the lawyer said, 27% basically he's taking it. Okay, so 27%, it's so the guy did not want to take it. Then after 3 months he calls the rabbi, he says, why don't you talk to this guy? He says, I want to take the 600. The guy says, because I was investing in somewhere else and he kept my money, now it's not going to be 700, it's going to be 600 if you want. So, and the guy says, no, I'm going to sue him, and that's you understand? So, when it comes to these things, okay, it's so detailed, and people is always right, 2 sides is always right, then the screaming comes, then emotion, of course, comes, because it's money, damim, okay? And that's it. Rabbi, you just don't understand. That's the first thing that they're going to tell you. But they understand everything in a business. They don't understand that the Gemara teaches in and outs that he's beyond his understanding and the way he's thinking and the way he's understanding, the way he's trying to lie. And they're not trying to lie. It's everything written. We just have no idea how much it's written and how much in detail it's written, that it's not even given understanding to the humanity. And they're saying, Rabbi, you don't understand. Just because you do couple transaction, it doesn't mean. If you do this 2-3 hours, the Chachamim does 15-20 hours a day, rest of their lives. Yeah. It's not somebody was learning and a lawyer and just threw the book, they already give him the license and that's it, he's doing whatever he's doing. It doesn't work like this in the Talmidei Chachamim. You understand? The Talmidei Chachamim and lawyers, anything that you could imagine. Let's continue, rabbis. So, the Chazal says, how is he able to do the judgment for the monetary laws? Okay? V'im derech eretz b'maseh matanim abriyot ena Torah. What if a person does not act properly with the other Jew or with the even Gentiles? How is he going to have a Torah? Okay? Shekol haTorah she'en imo malacha sofo batelet goreret avon. If a person is not learning, at the end, he's going to do avon, which just means sin. Sofo torato mishtakechat. At the end, his Torah is they're gonna leave. The Torah gonna leave him. Don't you think people, if they all the time, I'm not saying nothing about them. Don't you think people from morning to day is all the time with the congregations, with the Yishvot, Avaya, and this? Don't you think they have a time? They don't have time. So if they don't have time, what they learn, like Moshe Rabbeinu from Har Sinai, they learn, and that's it, they're going to remember the rest of their life. They keep forgetting. The Torah is so precious. You don't learn, a person does not learn one day, that's it, he's forgetting. Imagine if a person is doing this constantly. Forget about it. The information is gone. Okay? So Chazal says following, V'chen amru b'masechet barachot, page 35. V'asafta deganecha. You should gather your grain. What does it mean? Ma Talmud Romar, Hosea. Yoshua says, Lo yamush sefer haTorah ze mipicha, yachol hadvarim bechtavan. He says, Yoshua in 1:8. Yoshua goes to war, and a malach comes in, and he says, I'm going to kill you. He says, why? I'm doing war, I'm doing mitzvah Hashem. That's what Hashem commanded me. Conquer the Eretz Israel from the Knaanim, from the 7 nations. And that's what he's doing. He says, that's not enough what you're doing. At night, he says, I'm tired. At nighttime, you need to learn Torah. You're not learning Torah, you're going to lose I'm going to take your life away right now. Excuse me, I'm tired. I woke up early in the morning. I woke up by nets. I went to war all day. Then I come at nighttime. You must learn at nighttime, he says. If not, I'm taking your life away. To who? To Yeshua, that was what? That was conquering mitzvah Hashem from Torah. That commanded him to conquer the land. Whoever is going to do the mitzvah is not obligated to that. But he's not doing mitzvah right now. He's not conquering. What kind of mitzvah he needs to do? He needs to do Torah. He needs to learn. That's how crucial it is. We're just saying, no, it's okay. Okay, the malach comes in, the student of Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the greatest leader of the Am Israel. And he still does, whatever the schut that he have, the merit, it would not help him. And that's what it says. V'agita bo yomam v'layla. Hadvarim b'chtavam. He says, the things that have been written. Tamud lomar v'asafta deganecha. You should gather grain. What is it talking about? Nohag v'hem inhag derech eretz. He says, you're supposed to be derech eretz. What does it mean? Divrei Rabbi Ishmael, afal pi she Rabbi Ishmael cholek. Rabbi Ishmael says, half day you need to work, half day you need to learn Torah. Rabbi Shimon says, all day you learn Torah. People did like Rabbi Shimon, was not successful. People did Rabbi Ishmael, was successful. Chazal says, if really Rabbi Shimon, people would have done like Rabbi Shimon, they would have been, of course, successful. But who said they done like Rabbi Shimon said, the way he said, learn the Torah? But, intensity. Chacham Avadia says, in our days, the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon. Because he says, Baruch Hashem, we have people that is sponsors, that's rich people, able to sponsor kolelim, we're able to sponsor the yeshivot. We have no problem to go like Rabbi Shimon. Back then, Mishivayir, Mir, Volozhin, Bet El, there were 20, 30. The abundance, the shefa was not so great like we have in our time. And a person able to sustain himself with many, from government helps, from people, okay? There's many things able to done. If a person able to do 100% like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, without the problem. Amar Abaye, harbe asuk Rabbi Ishmael, v'halta bayadam. Rabbi Shimon lo halta bayadam. Abaye says, a lot of did like Rabbi Ishmael, half day working, half day is learning Torah. Okay? So what do we do? Abaye says everybody did like Rabbi Ishmael, was successful. People didn't do like Rabbi Shimon, wasn't successful. So a lot of people listening to Shiur, also business people, all the advisors when it comes to Torah. So all of a sudden they say, right here, Rabbi Ishmael says halfway. So how come this Talmidei Chachamim does not work? He haven't picked up his book himself for 15 minutes, but he could judge. He'd be right there. He right away could be shofet. Shofet, which means judge, how to judge the Talmidei Chachamim. Right away, without thinking, without scaling all the sides. All of a sudden he becomes professional judger. Okay? Can't even write his name in English. I'm sorry to say it. But Mishnah Kiddushin, Masechet Kiddushin, it says in the Mishnah, okay, page 40. Kol shishanu memikra Mishnah ubederech eretz. A person do Mishnah derech eretz. Lo b'mirahu choteh. He does the Mishnayot properly. Okay, he has a derech eretz. He would not sin fast and quick. Okay? Shenemar Kohelet. Kohelet says following in 4:12. Achud hamishulash lo b'mira yinatek. It says the rope that is three-way waved, it would not be ripped so fast and quick. You take a one rope, you could break it. Two, you could rip it. Three is very hard. So what is it has to do with us? Kihu lifi pirush Rabbeinu Avadia mi Bartonura, which is Rabbi Avadia, not Rabbi Avadia Yosef. Ulam mefurashim piresh derech eretz zainu midot tovot v'tromimiyot. What does it mean derech eretz? A lot of times we use the words, but what is the meaning behind it? The Chazal says, derech eretz midot tovot, good characters and traits. Who gives us the good characters and traits? Orchot Tzadikim. Who gives the good characters and traits? Rishit Chochmah. Who gives the good characters and traits? Chafetz Chaim, Shara Chesed. We have, Baruch Hashem, plenty of book, okay, that able to give us derech eretz, which means midot tovot. By those midot tovot, umusar, which means ethics, ethnical has to be. Sometimes we get in people conversation. Sometimes we disturb people. Sometimes we do many things without realizing. Dehainu midot tovot romot musar, sheim en lo derech eretz shel midot tovot. What if a person does not have a good characters and traits? En Torah, he does not have a Torah. She'en Torah shlema lefi she'aruach habriyot eno nachayim mino. He says the people don't like him. The people don't like him. What? So what? If the people don't like him, there's a lot of religious people not like religious people. He does not like religious people. So that means, that's it, he does not have a derech eretz. No. Shelahem, so what it says, what does it mean? We explain. Beinyan limud basifrei musar roeh ba'alechot olam. So how much we're supposed to be learn? Musar. Also in the Shulchan Aruch says, in the beginning, how much musar? We have to at least couple minutes, 5-10 minutes, and depends who you're learning and how you're learning the musar. If a person learning musar and everything he does is right, he's not learning musar. He's learning how much right he is. Musar, everything is telling us how lazy we are, how not responsible we are, how much responsibility we take out from us. That's what the musar teaching us. It polishes our midot, and it has to be constantly. A people not happy from this person. So what? What if in this land, the liberal is everything is okay? The gay, the lesbians, chas v'shalom, is everything is okay? What is it? That means you can't go? No. Whatever says the Torah, you must do. You must go against with the power and the strength. Okay? Tana Devi Rabbi Eliyahu Rabba. Eliyahu Hanavi says following. בעוצר מדרשים, אמר רבי שמואל בר נחמני, גדולה דרך ארץ שקדמה לתורה כ"כ דורות. He says in Eliyahu, Tan Devi Eliyahu, the derech eretz came 26 generations before this Torah was given. And we say following. Oh, right here, 26 generations before the Torah was given. First was derech eretz, then was Torah. But it says Masechet Pesachim in page 54. 7 things were kadma lebriyat haolam. 7 things was created, the world was before created. Which is, Istakel HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'oraita, HaKadosh Baruch Hu looked at the Torah, and created the world. So if that's the case, how is the Torah How is the Derech Eretz was before the Torah? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu looked at the Torah and created the world. And we say, Derech Eretz kadma la-Torah. We say, Derech Eretz is before the Torah. Saba Mikelim says, in order for you to learn the Torah, make sure you're going to refine your midot, characters and traits. That's what it means, Derech Eretz before the Torah. Yeah. Because they're going to say, you have such a vessel, like a Torah, such a diamond, it's beyond all the diamonds in the world. How does this stupid person have it if he has a bad characters and traits? Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So Chazal says, Derech Eretz l'chav vav dorot, שנאמר למשוך, לשמור את הדרך עץ החיים. Chazal says, to לשמור, to keep the path of the tree of life. אז דרך זה, דרך ארץ. He says, this is the path of this land. חיים זה תורה. חיים, the life, is a Torah. במשלי כתוב, משלי says following, King Solomon, 12:25, דאגה בלב איש ישכנה. He says a person, אל תקרא ישכנה, ישכנה. So he says, a person, דאגה, he has a worry. A person has a worry. What he should do? He should speak to another Jew to appease him, to comfort him. Okay? That's what he should do. And that's what the Mishle says. Okay? ודבר טוב ישכנה, פירוש הגר"א. So what is it says? Good things. A person has a worry in his heart. What he should do? אין טוב אלא תורה. He should go to the Talmidei Chachamim and speak to the Talmidei Chachamim. Needs to know what's the Da'at Torah. Not my Da'at, not my knowledge of understanding. What the Torah says. שכל המקבל עליו עול תורה, פורקים ממנו כל מיני דאגות. If a person takes everything that the Torah says and he clings in the Torah and he be weary out, like in time the Chizkiah Melech time, he was learning the Torah that's where he has no strength and no power. He says all the worries that will be come out of him. He would not have never worry. That's your question. That's your general question. How come I have worries? How come I have anxiety? How come I'm not happy? So Chazal says right here, black and white. En la ela Torah. What does it mean? Kol hamikabel ol Torah alav ol Torah. Somebody brings and takes the yoke of the Torah upon himself. Kol mine da'agod. Porkim mimenu kol ha'da'agod. You would not have worries. Kamo she'emra ba'avod Rabbi Natan. Rabbi Natan says in the Pirkei Avot, Kol hanoten ha'Torah, kol hanoten divrei Torah al libo, mivatlim minenu pachad v'hirhurei cheref. He says somebody is taking upon himself all the Torah in a full heart, everything will be nullified from him. A fear from his heart and a fear of the death, that somebody will come and kill him. Hirhurei ra'av, and thinking about what's gonna, the famine, which means the hunger, what's gonna happen with the hunger. If a person taking everything, that's what it says in the Torah, noten divrei al libo. What does it mean? What does it mean? Alibo, in his heart, huh? On his heart. On his heart. What does it mean? It means that he's living and breathing with the Torah. It's not lesafal lachutz. It's not like somebody have just a lip service and that's it. B'shem Rabbi Nachum miChernobyl. Kol ha'da'agot asurot chutz mida'agal ha'da'agot. He says all the worries is not permissible, except the worry that he's gonna forget the Torah that he's learning. All the worries, it would have diminish his life. All the worries, it diminishes his body. All the worries, it diminishes ages. And yes, anything. Not only he's sitting, he's worried right now, sitting in shul, he's worried. No, what does it mean? Worry could be, like you said, stress, monetary, cannot get married, worry with the kids. Everything has a worry. And that worry, it brings a person, diminish him. Most of the sicknesses happen in this world because of the worry. Nothing else. Nothing. The pressure from the mind goes to the pressure to the body. The body cannot handle it. That's why what it does, it bursts. So according to the Kabbalah, in the beginning of the Igul v'Yosher, that's a chidush maybe. Igulim v'Yosher. Igul v'Yosher, that was the world was created. with the circles and the straight lines. What does it mean? It's a deep understanding. Look at the human. The hand is round or oval, whatever you want to call it. It depends what shape that the mother put him in a bed. Okay, we're not talking about people. So something in an oval is an infinite. We could right now sit over here thinking about anything in the world, and we could travel anywhere in the world with a brain. But the body could do so much, you could only walk a couple miles a day, right? It's a straight, because that has a limit, which is that has a beginning and end. The body has beginning and end. The head has no beginning and end. Even though we're in a vessel of the body, we're still constricted, but we compare the body, the torso of the body, and we consider the head. The head is infinite. That's why the head puts a pressure in a body. That's why the body bursts. That's why a person has a sickness, heart, disease. Anything that you can imagine, that's everything comes from the head. Everything comes from the head. If the head is healthy, everything, the whole body is healthy. Person is happy, the whole body becomes happy. Person is anxiety during the COVID, 50%. People not die because of the COVID. People die because of the fear that they implanted on them. That's what we created. That's the way we are implanted in this world, the nature. So by the fear, a person, he has no strength. The mood of the person changes. Right? The motivation of the person changes. Very important to have motivation. All of a sudden, the motivation changes. Somebody saw a bad text in the morning before he comes to Shacharit. Is motivation changing towards the prayer? So that changed motivation, because that's the way the humans. We tend to put ourselves in those positions. So how can I not put in those positions? Don't look at the text in the morning.
I know a guy used to put his bills for the last 3 days of the month.
Right.
He still put them at the end.
Right.
I'll tell you something funny. In the computer language, computer science, all computer code is made in binary. Zeros and ones. All. Everything. You can write anything, create any form, any picture, zeros and ones. That's all it is.
Right. Kav, Igul, V'yosher. Yes. Right. The same system. So, en chokhmah, en yira. A person does not have knowledge. He does not have a fear. Okay? וכן שנונו בספרי, פרשת שופטים, למען ירבו ליראה את השם. We should learn how to fear Hashem. אלוקיו, our Hashem. Okay? מלמד שתלמוד מביא לידע יראה. Talmud, when a person is learning, brings him to the fear. זה הפיל משנה. What kind of fear? We're not talking about fear. He walks on the street, he heard a dog barking, he's running away. We're not talking about this fear, as we said it before. We're not talking about those fear, okay? We're not talking about those fear. מלמד, okay? שתלמוד מביא לידע יראה, זה משנה. אין בור ירא חטא, ולא עם הארץ חסיד. A person, a בור, which just means not knowledgeable, he can never know how to fear of sin. ולא עם הארץ חסיד. Not a person that is עם הארץ, not learner, could be a chassid, pious. לכך צריך להיות חוכמה שעל ידי כך יהיה ליראת השם. A person has a knowledge of wisdom, of Torah, of course, and to have the yirat Hashem. Even the biggest Greek philosophers, right? The Greek philosophers, even they failed in their own, philosophy. Why? Because it's everything like we said in Pirkei Avot. Somebody is more in a philosophical ideas and minds, is a failure. Because he's all about speech, but there's no deed. But the Torah is opposite. כמו שנאמר איוב. We learn from Eov 28:28 says following. ואמר לאדם, כן יראת השם היא חוכמה. Eov says, which is 3,000 years ago, Yirat Hashem, this is the knowledge and wisdom. Through the chokhmah, you get the Yirat Hashem. כתב חפץ חיים, זוג דחפץ חיים says following, כי מי שיש לו בידו תורה לא יראת שמיים. A person has a lot of Torah. He has a Torah in his hand, left and right. He's so smart. We say this many times. מאחר כל הגדול מחברו יצרי גדול ממנו. The more he's great in the Torah, the greater his Yetzer Hara is. But we're saying right away, he's a tzaddik, that's it. He's not a sin, he cannot sin. No, his Yetzer Hara is greater than anybody that's sitting over here. Because the Yetzer Hara does not challenge stupid people. Yetzer Hara does not need to challenge stupid people because, you're going to say what a harsh language. Let's say not knowledgeable. A person reads a newspaper. Yetzer Hara says, I have him in my pocket because he's doing Bitul Torah. He's nullifying Torah. Or he's watching in the FB, Facebook, or he's watching social media, okay? The Yetzer Hara says, I have him. Who I need to go? I need to run somebody have a chokhmah, Talmid Chacham, that is challenging for me. They're not challenging. I already have them. Or play with the plastic. Okay? Shenemar, Yotzrega Gadol Mimenu, Masechet Sukkah says, whoever is much greater and understand more, the Yetzer Hara is much greater for him. Over there in the Masechet Sukkah in page 52, it says, Halalu bochim v'halalu bochim. Tzadikim bochim, tzadikim is crying, Rashayim is crying. Why? How are they able to conquer the Yetzer Hara? The Yetzer Hara for the tzadikim was like what? Like a thin hair. Or some say like a har, like a mountain. And for the Rashayim, it's like a thin hair. Okay? שנמצא יצר הרע שלו גדול ביותר. The more person knows, the more his יצר הרע is much greater. ואין לו את הכלים להילחם כנגדו. This is the punchline. He does not have the tools to fight with him. We need to know our enemy in order to conquer the enemy. But we thinking we just became Shacharit Mincha Ravit, we daven, that's it. We conquered the enemy. No, you bring a Korban Todah, like it says in Siman 107, in Shulchan Aruch, Mishnah Brura elaborates. We bring a Korban Todah. Korban Timidim. Korban, which is one in the morning, one in the afternoon. That's what we did with the prayer. But the prayer needs to be with of course, with the Torah. Okay? Hashem Tahara. He says, if a person does not he does not know his opponent, who is he fighting for? Who is he fighting with? He does not know. So what he says, he does not have the tools. If he does not have the tools, how is he able to fight with him? Yirat Hashem Tahara. A person needs to have Yirat Hashem that is pure. What does it mean? Hima Ma'asim Tovim. What does it mean? His fear of Hashem pure. He needs to have a good deeds. He needs to constantly have to do good deeds. Asher Ragba Yachol Linatzech et Yetzer Hara. This is the only way with the good deeds, Gmilut Chasadim, with the Torah, we're able to conquer the Yetzer Hara. Lechen Katuv Rishit Chochma Yirat Hashem. That's why he says, the first is the knowledge, then he gives us the Yirat Hashem. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for listening. May Hashem give us Yirat Hashem, Emeti B'Yizrat Hashem, שעסקו בתורה וגמילות חסדים, וכן ירצון ונאמר אמן.